Thank you. In order to address the looming government project delivery crisis, many major cities in the United States are developing offices of public-private partnerships, and all should in the next 10 years. And today I'm going to tell you how to do it. American cities are facing an infrastructure crisis they cannot address alone. Infrastructure has been under-maintained and neglected for years, and populations are increasing. City residents are demanding greater accountability and measurement success for those funds spent on infrastructure. Add to that the end of many federal funding programs for infrastructure, and you have a situation that no city's capital budget anticipated. In the District of Columbia, this challenge has been growing as fast as our population over the last 2 decades. People are moving back to the city after years of moving to the suburbs. The district has transformed from a city of 565,000 to one of over 700,000 residents in just 20 years. Our maintenance backlog, caused by years of underinvestment, is now a crushing burden on the district's budget. The District of Columbia realized they could not solve this problem alone. It needed help, and it needed help from the private sector through public-private partnerships. So what did the District of Columbia do? While she was a council member, our current mayor, Mayor Mario Bowser, proposed the creation of an Office of Public-Private Partnerships, or OP3, with the support of every council member and the former mayor. As mayor, she stood up OP3 with the appointment of the director, me, and my deputy director, Judah Gluckman, in November of 2015. With all that political support, the mission of OP3 is to identify and procure infrastructure projects that could be better delivered through partnership with the private sector. To achieve this mission, we followed a few easy steps towards P3s to help improve procurement that all cities will, I hope, follow. First, we need to understand what public-private partnerships are not. P3s are not free money. Got it? All right. The private sector loves cities. Many of them are based in cities, but P3s are not a charity. P3s are not privatization. If you're just monetizing an asset or firing government employees, you're not doing a P3. I cannot tell you how many times those 2 points have been confused. I've been to many meetings where I'm accused of selling an asset and then asked when the free money is going to show up. They're the most fun. If you haven't guessed yet, P3s are not the solution to your budget problem. They do cost money, and you have to be prepared to make that investment if you want them to work. Now that I've disappointed everyone, you can go get coffee if you want. Let me tell you what P3s are. P3s are a better procurement policy, especially for large and innovative projects that can better procure through forcing the private sector to look at the full life cycle of an asset. In government, many times we just look at the sticker price and don't think about how much it's going to cost us to own that. P3s force us to do that. P3s are better risk transfer. You should allow the party best able to mitigate a risk, whether it's private or public, to go ahead and take care of that risk. It will save you money over the long term. P3s are simply performance-based contracts for a long-term relationship that allow the public to know what we're paying and when we're paying and what we're getting. So now that you've bought into the benefits of P3s, right, you're all set. Well, first let me tell you what you need to do. Your city should have some sort of enabling legislation to allow you to engage in public-private partnerships. City leaders should check first if state-level laws exist, if those laws allow for public-private partnerships, or if they prohibit P3s. That is, if you have a state or some sort of representation or vote in Congress, which must be really nice, and maybe you can tell me about it. Once you have legislation in place, you need a few folks to be professionals to really take control of the P3 process. In DC, our team has grown from those original 2 to 4 full-time staff members with an additional dedicated staff member from the General Procurement Office. If you can't or don't want to have full-time staff, you should appoint a few folks part-time to handle P3 agreements. The first goal of your P3 team should be to set up procurement rules. Everyone needs to know the rules of the road for this process, both the public and private, and what's expected of them. Next, hire advisors. Yes, advisors are expensive, but they're a lot cheaper and you need them instead of messing up a project yourself. I can tell you about that too. If you don't want to go through the process of hiring advisors, you can use mine. I have 29 of them, and we wrote the contract so you can use them, so let me know. The second goal of your P3 team should be to identify and screen possible projects that are viable to create a pipeline of projects to attract interest from the private sector. The private sector wants to know that if they're going to come into your city and make that investment to overcome hurdles for entry, that there's going to be more than one project. They want to know if they lose the first project, there's more in the future. Next, you have to engage with all your city's agencies and stakeholders to make sure that you're addressing their needs. In our first year at OP3, we met with every deputy mayor, 88 agency heads, the DC Council, leading community groups, and over 500 private organizations to explain what our office was about and to solicit their project ideas. Those meetings gave us a list of over 100 projects. We ran those through our screening process that included criteria for project need, risk transfer, funding, social equity, and innovation. That cut down that list of 100 to about 3 dozen. We then selected from those 3 dozen the 12 we felt most viable for P3s and having the highest likelihood for success. You can find those 12 on our website, op3.dc.gov. That's shameless plug number 2. Next, city leaders need to support the P3 team with budget. P3s take a large upfront investment in both team members and advisors. It's a big lift, but you need it for future projects. Again, P3s will not fix your budget trouble, and they're not free money. That process can be expensive, but it's worth it. Those advisors I talked about, you should expect to spend between 1% to 2% of the project value on them. Now that things have gotten interesting, it's more important than ever for city leaders, both elected and appointed, to provide support for the P3 office. It is critical to include your city council and community in this process because no project can be successful without them. One bit of advice from me, focus on the merit of the project. Prove to people that it's a good project. People generally care about good projects. They don't care so much about your financing model. It was a little disappointing for me to learn that. P3 teams, once they have that support, just need to start moving forward. It's not always going to be easy, and there's going to be many challenges along the way. We believe that changing our streetlights, overhead streetlights, to energy-saving LEDs would be easy. I can spend the next 3 hours telling you about the Kelvin temperature of lights, but Living City only gave me 10 minutes, so I'm not going to do that right now. All right, you've set up your team, you've hired your advisors, and you have your list of projects. Now it's time to go on to actual procurement. Your P3 team needs to run a fair and transparent procurement based on real performance measures. They need to select the best private partner, not the most familiar or the lowest price partner. This is critical. P3s are kind of like a marriage. They take a lot of work, and divorce is really expensive. Next, the private sector needs to be ready to take on their new role as project monitor. This may be a cultural shift for some of your owner agencies. They may be used to delivering projects. You're going to have to work with them and have that conversation early to assure them that they're not working themselves out of a job. Instead, they're actually building job security because they're moving from a system where they're managing several small contracts to managing one large contract and really protecting the public interest. Sounds so easy, right? Well, not exactly. DCOP3 only has a few projects in procurement right now after 2 years of existence. The process has taken much longer than I had hoped. We've had to add weeks, sometimes months, to steps of the process because of hurdles, bureaucratic and otherwise, and just overcoming the old ways of doing things. It's been slow going, but I still firmly believe that P3s are the future of procurement for cities. Living Cities through the City Accelerator program has really helped us get through those early phases. It was encouraging to realize that other cities and other innovative offices were facing the same challenges we were. Our team at OP3 took the opportunity given to us by the City Accelerator program to work with experts at Stanford University to develop a guide for P3s for local governments. This guide here. I'm sure there's a few people here that maybe will get you a copy of that if you ask nicely. By following these steps and with the help of our friends in the innovative space, DCOP3 hopes to bring better infrastructure to every resident. By engaging with the private sector through performance-based contracting, I still believe that we will be delivering real improvements for all residents who need better infrastructure the most, while protecting their interests through robust government monitoring those projects. P3s can help government get what they pay for. Sadly, that's not always the case with some traditional performance models. In many cases, lower income neighbors always seem to be the ones that suffer the most when their cost overruns, delays, or cuts to maintenance in projects. When P3s are done right and there's strict government monitoring, we can ensure that all residents, regardless of their income or where they live in the district, will get what they're paying for. Imagine if governments focus on better contract managing and monitoring instead of just trying to deliver a project themselves. Imagine if the goals of the government and the private sector can be aligned for the better results of all residents. P3s at the local level may not be the answer to all your infrastructure challenges, but they are a tool that can help you deliver better results. In the near future, all cities of all sizes should have a P3 office to deliver those projects and help deliver better value to residents. Thank you very much. I appreciate your time. Again, my name is Seth. I'm from Washington, D.C. I'm here to help you, and I hope to see you out in the hall soon. Thank you.